Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom. This is Yaak Hazaki Yahu, and I start this broadcast as I start any broadcast by giving all praise, honor, and great esteem unto the Most High Power Yahuwah, Bahashem, Yahushua Hamashiach, and to the 12 tribes of Israel who are scattered to the four quarters of the earth. I say shalom wabarukim, that is peace and blessings. And I cannot wait to the day that the Most High brings us back together and we are once again 12 tribes, one family, one nation, under the Most High power, under one covenant. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
I'm joined this Sabbath afternoon by my most esteemed Ak Kenaniah. Shabbat Shalom, my king.
Shabbat shalom, Aki. Shabbat shalom, Yasharal. Kwam Yasharala.
All praises to the Most High. Hallelujah. Quam, rise, rise, Israel, rise. All praises to the Ha'aba for another Sabbath day. Ma'ak and I spent some additional time just looking at various things and getting some, uh, needed conversation out on the table. So praise to Ha'aba for the ability to do such and, get some understandings made. So Uh, let's get to the text. Last night we went through Devarim. We read 4 chapters. Uh, this afternoon, with Devarim being such a reasonably short book, our plan is to get into from 12 to 20. And so we're going to have this resolved pretty quick. And again, our objective is not to finish the chapter, is to be edified, or not to finish the book, is to be edified through the reading of the book and the breaking down of places and people's names and anything that we're not uh, certain about. So,
Yeah, Khan. And
uh,
and to just land back off what you just said,
okay.
again, a lot of what we're gonna read here has been stated before, because
Hmm.
Dibbarim is many people call it the second law, or
Hmm.
the law being told the second time.
Exactly. Exactly. So yes, this is definitely a lot of information that we've gone through before, and we'll have places where we will take a little time and give a little more emphasis. Ideally, the curses. We're definitely going to take our time going through that. Also, the promises, and also Devarim 25. We'll definitely fine tooth comb that, which I think we're doing pretty decent at going through these. But let's continue. In Devarim chapter 12 and verse 1, this is the law of the sanctuary. So we know been given the law of the sanctuary already, but we're going to reiterate that here. And chapter 12 and verse 1 reads, uh, "There are the statutes in Slicha. These are the statutes and the judgments which you shall observe to do in the land, which Yahuwah your power, which Yahuwah power of your fathers give you to possess it all the days that you live upon the earth. You shall utterly destroy all the places wherein the nations which you shall possess serve their idols, uh, up on the high mountains and up on the hills and under every green tree." So he's telling us right there to go in there and destroy everything that they have set up for their idol worship. Verse 3, "And you shall overthrow their altars and break their pillars and burn their groves with fire, and you shall hew down their graven images and their idols and destroy the names of them out of that place." So he's saying, get rid of them, every one of them. You, my people, you go in there and you wreck all of their stuff. Verse 4, "You shall not do so unto Yahuwah your power." You shall not do so unto Yahuwah your power. That's kind of ironic he put that right there. Uh, let's continue. Verse 5, "But you shall place but unto the place which Yahuwah your power shall choose out of all the tribes to put his name there, even unto his habitation shall you seek, and and there you shall come. So don't make a place for him where their place was. He's going to give us the place to set it up. So that's what he was saying there, and I didn't quite get that until I read the next verse. Verse number 6. And there you shall bring your burnt offerings and your sacrifices and your tithes and heat offerings and your hands and your vows and your free will offering and the firstlings of your herd of your flocks. And there you shall eat before Yahuwah your power, and you shall rejoice in all that you put your hands unto. And you and your household, wherein Yahuwah your power have barak you. Yet shall Sliga, uh, you shall not do after the things that we do here this day. Every man whatsoever is right in his own eyes. Let me read that again. You shall not do after all the things that we do here this day. Every man whatsoever is right in his own eyes. So he's telling you, don't go in the land doing what you think you want to do.
Mhm.
Yahuwah will kill you. Don't do that. Verse 9. For you are not yet, for you, Slikah, for you are not as yet come to the rest and to the inheritance, which Yahuwah your power giveth you. I thought I lost you for a minute. All right.
No, I'm still here.
Okay, kind. All right, verse 10. Uh, but when you go over Jordan to dwell in the land which Yahuwah your power give you to inherit, and when he give you rest from all your enemies round about, so that you dwell safely, then there shall be the place which Yahuwah your power shall choose to cause his name to dwell there. There shall you bring that I command you, and your burnt offering and your sacrifices, your tithes, your heave offerings, and in your hand, slikah, of your hand, and all your choice vows which you vow unto Yahuwah. And you shall rejoice before Yahuwah your power, you and your sons and your daughters and your manservants and your maidservants and the Levite that is within your gates, for as much as he have no part nor inheritance with you, take heed to yourself that you shall not offer Shlika. Take heed to yourself that you offer not your burnt offerings in the place that you seeth, that you seest. So he's saying making sure you put your offerings in the proper place and don't be trying to do it your own way. Which what's going to end up happening if you notice this history. That's exactly what happens. The Northern Kingdom goes off to Samaria and they
Mm.
create their own places, and they go exactly against what Moshe is telling us right here to not to do. So, verse 14. But in the place which Yahuwah shall choose, Silicon, but in the place which Yahuwah shall choose in one of your tribes, there shall you offer your burnt offerings, and there shall you do all that I command you. Notwithstanding, you may kill and eat flesh in all your gates. Whatsoever your soul lusteth after, according to the barakah of Yahuwah your power, which he may give you. The unclean and the clean, what? The unclean and the clean may eat thereof, as of the roebuck and as of the hart. Am I reading that right? Hold on,
Man,
let me
it's
read.
got
Let me Let me hold on. I gotta turn this AC up. I done got hot. I don't think I read that right. Let me look back at
You
that.
did, and I'm lost for words right now. And
Hold on.
maybe my understanding, maybe he's saying the blessings whereof, that's. But then in the very next thing it says the unclean and the clean.
Salika. Let me get I think this KJ and let me get the ESV with that. And I go to another translation. I'm like, that can't be right.
Man, I need to grab my hallelujah scripts.
I know, right? Yeah, let's do. Let's go to Hallelujah. Let's go to Hallelujah. Con. Yeah, let's go to scriptures here. Um, what verse was that? 15. Okay,
15.
con. Okay, let's start there. All right, verse 15 in the scriptures. It says, "Only whatever your being desire, you shall slaughter and eat, according to the barakah of Yahuwah, your power, which He has given you within all your gates. The clean and the unclean do eat of it, of the gazelle and the deer alike." So that clean and unclean, that means that's not referring to the food. That's referring to the man, the clean man and the unclean.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Good,
Okay.
good. Hey, yeah, man. Bingo.
Okay. Con. And I was like, wait just a minute here. Okay. Because I was like, did I read that right? That can't be right. That can't be right. Yeah. That's what he's talking about, the clean and the unclean. That's referring to the man. So it's not
Right.
saying that if you unclean, you can't eat. But if you unclean,
Man, I'm
and
so
certain
glad
it's
you cleared that up, all right? Because
con.
so we got some folks that will run with that.
Right, exactly. Oh, Deuteronomy 15 says the clean, we can eat clean and unclean.
I
No,
can eat a rat.
right, exactly. But no, that's now in certain situations, of course, we can't eat unclean. You can't if you're unclean, you can't eat a certain feast. But that's during the feast. But on a day in and day out, if you become unclean, say your job is to handle the dead bodies, you are unclean for 7 days.
Mm-hmm.
So that means you can't have no food.
No,
No,
it mean like if it's a feast, you gotta wait. What is it?
it's
He give them another time to do the Passover.
exactly. If it's Pesach, yes. That's a rough job, man. That's a whew, this is my, but in your own nation, somebody got to do it.
Right.
It's got to be done. Somebody gonna die in their house.
Yeah.
Somebody gonna lay down and not wake up. Everybody not gonna walk outside the camp and give up the ghost. Uh, they're not gonna just go. All right, I think I'm gonna die now. I'm gonna go to, you know, you think about Yaakov on his bed and Isaac and Abraham. They had to be put in the sepulcher, and so those things gonna happen definitely. Verse 16. Whew. I was like, wait just a minute. Okay, con. Verse 16. Only you shall not eat the blood. You shall pour it on the earth as water. You shall not eat within your gates the tithe of the corn, or of the wine, or of your oil, or the firstling of the herd, or of any of the flock, nor any of the vows which you have vowed, nor your freewill offering, or heave offering of your hand. Verse 18. But you must eat them before Yahuwah your power, in the place which Yahuwah your power have chosen, you and your sons and your daughter and your manservant and your maidservant and the Levite that is within your gate, and you shall rejoice before Yahuwah your power in all that you putteth your hand unto. Take heed to yourself that you forsake not the Levite as long as you live upon the earth. When Yahuwah your power shall enlarge your borders, even he uh, your border as he hath promised you, and you shall say, I will eat flesh because my soul longeth to eat flesh. You may eat flesh whatsoever your soul lusteth after, or whatever you want to eat. As that would be according to Torah.
Hmm.
Verse 21. If the place which Yahuwah your power, because you may want to eat one day, you may want to eat some deer, and that happens to be my favorite. But you may feel like eating goat one day.
Hmm.
It's the difference between deer and goat. You know, you may want to eat some beef, some cow. You know, you may want some chicken. We love chicken. I
Right.
love chicken myself. So I love all those animals actually that I mentioned. Deer would be my favorite. I actually could eat deer every day, but I think it would be healthy for your heart. Uh, uh, I think deer is probably the most heart healthy meat uh, that exists.
Yeah.
It's
They do
hard.
a lot of running, you know.
Yeah, that's all they do is run. That's why them jokers are lean. That's why they meat don't make any oil. Is they, phew, I believe that's why I like it so much because it's so it's a different kind of taste. The reason it tastes different is because ain't no fat. So yeah. All right, verse 21. And if the place which Yahuwah your power have chosen to put his name there be too far for you, you shall kill of the herd of your flock which Yahuwah have given you, as I have commanded you, and you shall eat in the gate whatsoever your soul lusteth after, even as the roebuck and the hart is eaten, so you shall eat of them. The unclean and the clean shall eat of them alike. So that makes it a little bit more clear there. The unclean and the clean shall eat of them, the clean animals alike. So just because you weren't clean don't mean you don't get to eat. So verse 23. Only be sure that you eat not the blood, for the blood is the life, and you may not eat the life of the flesh. Again, this is reiterating chapter 9 in Better Sheep. Exactly what he talked about when he told them they came off the ark. Don't eat the blood. Pour it on the ground as water uh, on the dirt. Verse 24. You shall not eat of it. You shall pour it onto the earth as water. You shall not eat of it, that it may go well with you and your children after you. And when you shall do that which is right in the sight of Yahuwah. You see that? Let me read that again, verse 25. You shall not eat of it. What is the it? That's the blood.
Hey, Khan.
That it may go well for you. Now, let's examine this because we're talking about consuming the blood of an animal. So get the blood out of the animal. Why? That it may go well for you and with your children after you, that you shall do that which is right in the sight of the most high power Yahuwah. So as harmless as something like that we would think something like eating blood would be, we think that's just completely harmless. It doesn't affect anybody but except the person that's doing it. But the fact that the Most High sees this as such a detestable thing has Moshe reiterating this.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, in this, like I said, we talked about this in Bereshit, chapter 9, where he was given the instruction, don't eat the blood.
Con. We
But when
also
you
see we see this again in the book of Acts in chapter
mm,
15.
con,
The Gentiles are given specific commandments that they must keep. They don't have uh, as many laws as we do as Israelites, but there are definitely commandments for them as well. And one of those is to not eat anything with blood in it.
hmm yeah, not eating that blood because uh, that's where you start in that realm of not of putting that thing down because that's something that I mean think about it, that's something that you would think deem as harmless,
Mm-hmm.
like this is not gonna hurt nobody. I'm not stealing nothing, I'm not hurting anybody, I'm not doing anything against anybody else. If I want to eat this blood, I should be able to eat the blood. Well, no, you got to do what's right in the sight of the Most High. And I love that's how that's stated there. You shall do, let me highlight that. You shall do that which is right in the sight of Yahuwah. So he looking at you, he can see you, and yeah, it's not hurting your neighbor when you eat that blood, but Yahuwah hate that thing. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why Moshe is harping on it like he is. Verse 26. Only your set apart things which you have, and your vows which you take, and go unto the place which Yahuwah shall choose, and you shall offer your burnt offering, the flesh of the blood, the flesh and the blood, Slikah, upon the altar of Yahuwah your power, and the blood of the sacrifice shall be poured out unto the altar of Yahuwah your power, and you shall eat the flesh. So you pour the blood out at the altar, which we talked about that in Leviticus.
Mm-hmm.
I remember he was talking about some of these. Now some of them you pour it right there at the altar, and then some you had to throw. What did some you had to throw all the way
Well,
out?
it was sprinkle it on the altar
Oh yeah,
and yep.
yeah. Sprinkle it with the finger.
Mm-hmm.
Right, con. Okay, I remember that. I remember that. Con. All right, verse 28. Uh, Observe and hear all these words which I command you, that it may be well with you and with your children after you forever, when you do that which is good and right in the sight of Yahuwah your power. So by following these commandments, you're not only going to be a barakah to yourself, also to your children that come after you. He's saying forever,
Mm-hmm.
after you forever, because you teaching your children this. Guess what? They're gonna teach their children this. Like, no, we don't do that. No, we can't do that. We can't eat that. No, we don't cook that more. That's not enough. It's too much red. Take that out. You know what I'm saying? You pass it on to your children, and they same thing. Same conversation you have with them, they'll have with their children. Oh no, we don't eat that, son. No, we don't eat that. Pour that blood on the ground and cook that more longer. My Gentile buddy said if you put a little bit of this red on there, it makes it taste good. No, we don't do that.
Right, right.
Yeah, we don't do that. Verse 29. Then Yahuwah your power shall cut off the nations from before you, whether you go to possess them, and you succeeded them and dwell in their land. Take heed to yourselves that you be not Slikah. Take heed to yourself that you be not snared by following them after that they be destroyed from before you, and that your iniquity, oh Slikah, and that you inquire not after their idols, saying, how do these nations serve their idols? Even so, I will do likewise. He said, don't even think about it. Don't even think about going and try to do what they do. This is why they up out of here, and I'm putting you in their place. So
Right.
don't try to do what they did, because I'll do you the same way I'm doing them. I send the people against you the same way I send the people against. I'm sending you against them.
And just quickly right there, land
Hmm.
backing off you in that verse right there.
Hmm.
You know, can we think of any day or anywhere in the Torah, thus far that we've read, where there was a day to celebrate the birth of the Most High or Mashiach?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, we can't.
No,
So uh that's off. You know
it's
what I
way
mean?
off.
Like I've got a family that are still in the church that will tell
Hmm.
you that it's okay for me to want to celebrate this day as a certain day as Mashiach's birthday.
Hmm. Yeah,
That's
no,
that's off. That's the
no,
way the nations do around about us.
exactly, exactly. Because we kept it to them, and we taken their traditions and we follow them. That's what they was doing, and we just following their way. And Abba is telling us right here, don't do that.
Right.
Don't. Uh,
You still there? Ak?
yeah, yeah. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I was trying to find where I was. I'm still at verse 30 here. I'm trying to find where it was. Where it was. Yeah, right here.
Yeah.
And you shall, and you shall inquire after their idols, saying, how do these nations serve their idols? Even so will I likewise. How do these people keep Christmas? I'll keep Christmas the way they keep it. They do it 12/25. I'll do it 12/25. They bring trees in their house. I'll bring trees at my house.
Mm-hmm.
They wrap up gifts and put them under the tree. I'll wrap up gifts and put them under the tree. Verse 31. Let's see what he say about that. You shall not. Let me read the whole thing before I go into the breakdown of it. So you shall not do so unto Yahuwah your power. For every abomination to Yahuwah which he hate have they done to their idols. For even their sons and their daughters have they burnt in the fire to their idols.
Mm-hmm.
So, right, I mean, he's telling us right here, 30, we read 30 and 31, you shall not do so unto Yahuwah your power. For every abomination, filthy, disgusting thing to Yahuwah, which he hateth, I don't know if I read that right the first time, which he hateth, have they, the nations, done unto their idols. So the wicked stuff that they do, Yahuwah don't deal like that. He don't want that worship for him. For even their sons and their daughters have they burnt in the fire to their idols. They done burnt their sons and their daughters in the fire to their idols.
Mm-hmm.
But he don't, whatever they doing, you don't go and inquire about what how they do
Right.
this. I'm gonna do this
Right.
too.
And the way he's saying that is they even do that. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Like that's
they
not the
even
only thing that they do, but even will go so far to do that to
to
serve their
burn
serve
children,
their deities.
yeah, to sacrifice their children to to these idols. These idols who work for me, they getting children burnt to them,
Come.
and they work for me. These children aren't willing participants in this. They're children. Let me finish this out. Verse 32. What things soever I command you, observe to do it. You shall not add thereto, nor diminish from it. So he's telling you, don't come. Uh, we a long way. If we so far away from this, I can't even tell you how many years we're
Man,
talking about.
wax so worse. Huh? We wax
Yeah,
so worse.
we've gotten so. so far away at this point in dealing with with this captivity and the ways of these people, uh, which I put up a post up earlier about these so-called apologetic Christians, these Christians apologetics. I've been hearing that term and hearing that term, and I heard it again this morning, and I googled it, like what is a Christian apologetic, and it went to according to Encyclopedia Britannica, it had to do with the second century, the Christians who basically made a justification for doing the paganism in Christianity. Why it's okay to have Christians and dealing with paganism, doing exactly what this is saying here. Uh, Not exactly, I shouldn't say exactly, but doing what this is saying, like they're basically merging two
Mm-hmm.
things together. We're going to
God,
take the scriptures here, and we're going to take paganism here, and we're going to put them together, and you won't be able to tell the difference.
God.
Yeah. And it's ironic that we read this today, or we read this now, and that was going on before this even. I don't know what it had to been a righteous spirit that told me to Google that and brought me into a Britannica. Matter of fact, let me pull it up right quick since we talking about it. It's Yakazaki Yahoo. As you can see, this is my Facebook here, and I I I asked Google what is the meaning of Christian apologetics. You can see it here. Search only for what is the meaning of Christian apologetic. An apologist, any of the Christian writers, primarily in the second century, whom attempted to provide defense for Christianity and Shalika. I read that wrong. Defense for Christianity and criticism of paganism to other aspects of Greco-Roman culture.
Well,
That's
that's not what they doing now.
no, that's not what they're doing. Uh they defending that. So they done merged the two. Wow, okay, I did read that wrong. And I'll admit that I read that wrong. So according to this, apologetics are any Christian writers, primarily in the second century, whom attempted to provide a defense of Christianity and criticism of paganism and other aspects of Greco-Roman culture.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. My bad. No, that's not what. I smooth read that wrong. Matter of fact, I'm gonna change this right on this stream here. Let me edit this post. I said, see, these Christian apologetics are literally calling themselves defenders of paganism. No, I'm gonna take that off because that's not what it's saying. But that's what I understood it when I read it earlier. Uh, my bad. That was a mistake on my part. So I will own that mistake and I will correct it. Okay. All right. So, matter of fact, we'll just take that down. It posts. Yeah. Yeah. I read that incorrectly. My bad. I really thought that I had that that's what that was. And when I read it, I guess that was a bit unclear. And yeah, I'll correct that. But let's get back to the lesson here. So yeah, but don't do as they do. And these things are not for us to do. Um, yeah. So let's continue here. Verse chapter number 13. Ironically, we don't have any viewers.
Right.
That was kind of ooh. Well, okay. Anyway, Let's continue. Chapter 13 and verse number 1. This is shun idolatry. So he's telling us right here, we know going into this chapter, he's telling us not to deal with idolatry. Verse number 1. If there arise among you a prophet or a dreamer of dreams that give you a sign or a wonder, and the sign or the wonder come to pass, whereof Slika, I got a little bit of indigestion here. Uh, whereof he spake unto you, saying, let us go after idols, which you have not known, and let us serve them. You shall not listen, hearken unto the voice of that prophet or that dreamer of dreams, for Yahuwah your power prove you to know whether you love Yahuwah your power with all of your heart and with all of your soul. And you shall walk after Yahuwah your power and fear him and keep his commandments and obey his voice, and you shall serve him and cleave unto him. Who is the him? That's Yahuwah our power, the most
That's
high
right.
power of Israel. Verse 5. And that prophet or dreamer of dreams shall be put to death, because he have spoken to turn you away from Yahuwah your power, which brought you out of the land of Mizraim, to redeem you out of the house of bondage, to thrust you out of the way which Yahuwah your power commanded you to walk in. So shall you put evil away from the midst of you. If your brother, the son of your mother, or the son of your Shlika, if your brother, the son of your mother, or your son, or your daughter, or your wife, or the wife of your bosom, or your friend, which is as your own soul, entice you secretly, saying, let us go and serve idols, which you have not known, you or your fathers, namely the idols of the people which are round about you, near unto you, or far off from you, from one end of the earth even unto the other end of the earth. You shall not consent unto him, nor hearken unto him, neither shall your eye pity him, neither shall you spare, neither shall you conceal him, but you shall surely kill him. Your hand shall be first upon him to put him to death, and afterwards the hand of all the people. Now, what are we reading here? This is how you deal with someone who come in and try to say, deal with these idols. Let's worship something else and not Yahuwah our power. He says, if there arise among you a prophet or a dreamer of dreams that give a sign or a wonder, verse 2, and that sign of that wonder come to pass, wherefore they spake. So they say, oh, tomorrow's going to be an eclipse. And that happened. And you go, oh. So the next day you see an eclipse and you go, oh, he was right. It was an eclipse. This must be a man this must be a man of the Most High. And then he say, let us go after ALLAH, or let's go after JC, or let's go after any idol that's in the earth, and serve them. What do you say we supposed to do here? Uh, verse 9, or actually verse 8, you shall not consent unto him, nor hearken unto him, neither shall your eye pity him, neither shall you spare, neither shall you conceal him. So you're not even supposed to keep it hush. Like, hey man, you tripping, man. Don't bring it up again.
Right.
You're not even supposed to do that.
Right.
Verse 9, he says, but you shall surely kill him. Your hand shall be first to put him to death, and after the hand of all the people. Like everybody has to join in. Like, look, this dude is an idolater. He got to
Hmm.
go because Yahuwah don't share his with nobody.
Come.
He don't share his praise with nobody, or his worship or his esteem. None of that. The only one he will kind of share with would be his those who do his work, and even that we direct it, or those ones are going to direct it right back to him. So
Indeed.
you're not really worshiping me, you worshiping him. You're not serving me, you serving him. You just serving him through me as me being his representative, or Hamashiach being his representative, or any other Malakim being his representative. But don't mean that you supposed to bow down and all this type of thing. So verse 10. And you shall stone him with stones that he die, because he has sought to thrust you away from Yahuwah your power, which brought you out of the land of Mizraim, out of the house of bondage. And all Israel shall hear and fear, and shall do no more as such wickedness as this among you. Like, man, you go over there, we're talking about stuff. If he'll say in his ruach, like he'll say in his heart, like, man, if I try to worship these idols, these people will kill me.
Hmm.
I ain't doing that. I ain't doing that. You know what? And that's the honest truth.
Come.
That's what it should be. Verse 12. If you shall hear saying, Silicon, if you shall hear saying in one of your cities, which Yahuwah your power have given you to dwell therein, saying, certain men, the children of, that's the wicked one. Let's, let me finish this and then we'll go look at that. Uh, children of the wicked one are going out from among you, and have drawn the inhabitants of the city, saying, let us go and serve their idols, which you have not known. So I always want to show this for anybody who don't know, whether they're clicking on this video or anything else. But this is a word that I wouldn't say. Uh, yeah, it even got the Most High's name in there. Ain't that crazy?
Yeah, I peep it.
Yeah, that is crazy. Uh, worthlessness is what that name means. I will let the Gentiles see it.
Hey, Con, you got your headphones on, so it
Con,
doesn't.
yeah, I'm gonna do this here. Let's do this. Let's do it this way. Hold on, here you go.
Psalms H 1100. Belial, Belial.
You able to hear it?
Here, Con.
Okay. Con, that worked. All right. Worthlessness. Worthless. Good for nothing. Unprofitable. Base fellow. Are you a base fellow, huh? Wicked. Wicked. Ruin, destruction, construct. Oh, praises. Oh man. Yeah, this is the first time this is the first time we've seen this.
Hmm.
Okay, okay. Yeah, but it's different variations. As you'll see. Um, but yeah, that's what that is. So, and the reason we don't say that is because there's a commandment that we do not let their name come out of our mouth. Let it not be heard from us. So we don't even want you to think that we might be part of that. So we don't even say it. Because we don't want somebody to take a sound bite and say, you know what? These Israelites were saying, no, you ain't going to even get it. You can play the Gentiles saying it, but not us. Verse 14. Then shall your iniquity, or then shall your inquiry Then shall your inquiry and make search and ask diligently, and behold, if it be true, and the thing certain, that such abomination is wrought among you, you shall surely smite the inhabitants of the city with the edge of the sword, destroying it utterly, and all that is therein, and all that is therein, the cattle thereof with the edge of the sword. He's saying even destroy the cattle because uh he don't want somebody uh who sought an idol and think that this idol delivered something. He don't want you taking that. It's like here's the cattle. Oh, they had cattle, but they worship wickedness. They worship idols here. Kill the cattle because he don't want you take. He don't want us taking these people cattle when when they thinking they got their stuff by idol worship.
Con.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, this is how serious the Most High is about this. He's saying, don't even take their cattle. You know that takes me back to where when he talked about the idols. He said, don't want the silver or the gold from it. You take that and you burn it. You burn the whole thing. Don't even take the stuff that they give to the idol. Don't even take that.
Mm-hmm.
That's not for you. Burn it. Like I don't even want this stuff. You take it. You keep it. Verse 16. And you shall gather all the spoils of it unto the midst of you in the street, and shall burn with fire the city and all the spoils thereof, even with for Yahuwah your power, for Yahuwah your power, and it shall be an heap forever, and it shall not be built again. So, if they got an idol in that city, and that idol is where they was like they had a place to worship there, yeah, he said you burn it and don't even build it back. You leave it there. Just leave it sitting, burnt, so that when people come through, they'll know. Let's continue. Verse 17. And you shall cleave not of the cursed thing to your hand, that Yahuwah may turn from his fierceness of his anger, and show you mercy, and have compassion upon you, and multiply you, as he hath sworn unto your fathers. Then you shall hearken unto the voice of Yahuwah your power, to keep his commandments, which he command you this day, to do that which is right in the eye of Yahuwah, in the eyes of Yahuwah your power. So he don't even want us uh, dealing with these things, which he end up going into that. So if they give it to an idol, it's no good. We don't even want it.
Con.
Leave it. So we go to take our lands back, and they got these idols. They got these churches and temples and synagogues and mosques and all this crap. We burn that stuff. We burn that stuff, and just let it burn. Don't take nothing. I don't care if it's made with solid gold. Just let it burn.
Con.
We don't take none of that. People have a hard time with that in this day and time because they like, I ain't leaving no dollars on the table. But that's what the Most High said. All right, chapter 14. We're gonna get to clean and unclean animals, so we're gonna reiterate that. So yeah, this is that's pretty accurate. Reiteration of the previous information
Mm-hmm.
because that's exactly what we're getting here. Uh, just continue to reiterate. Chapter 14 and verse 1. You are the children of Yahuwah your power. You shall not cut yourselves, nor make any baldness between your eyes for the dead. For you are a set apart or a Kodesh people unto Yahuwah your power, and Yahuwah have chosen you to be a peculiar people unto himself above all nations that are upon the face of the earth. That are upon the earth. So they kind of added the face
John.
in there.
I was gonna see if we could go back to
Oh,
verse 1, the
oh,
baldness between the eyes.
okay. See what that bonus is?
Yeah.
All right, let's take a look at that. Con,
Horkah.
coca. Baldness, ball. Yeah. Baldness, utterly.
So like,
Same baldness in Leviticus 21. Let's see what that says. You shall not make baldness upon their heads, neither shall they shave off the corners of their beards. Um, maybe we was unibrow back then.
man, I'm wondering like how, how does one become bald in between the eyes?
Maybe, maybe we was unibrow. Let's let's see this between your eyes here.
Ayin.
Ye, um, yeah, physical eye showing mental qualities, mental and spiritual faculties, bringing fountain. Hmm. Yeah, so maybe we was unibrow back then, and maybe we supposed to be unibrow. Like I'm gonna shave this off. I lost somebody. I'm gonna shave this. I don't know. That's
And maybe that's what it is. Maybe just shaving the brows was a way that people mourn the dead. Maybe the nations mourn the dead like that.
yeah, yeah. You are the children of Yahuwah. Should not shave the front of your heads for the dead. Shave the front of your head for the dead.
Okay.
So maybe the forehead, if you got hair that grows down here. I've seen people with that, but I don't have it. I don't think I ever had it. So the scripture also talked about being forehead bald,
Hmm.
but it's all right. I've been forehead bald for a whole lot of years. So yeah. All right, let's continue. Verse 3. You shall not eat any abominable thing. These are the beasts in which you shall eat: the ox and the sheep and the goat, the hart and the roebuck and the fawn deer and the wild goat and the uh, pag- pagara, gaga,
Pagard.
pagard, the pagard and the wild ox and the claim the
Camos.
chemos. All right, let's take a look at this pagard here. I'm not familiar with that term.
Dishon.
Dishon,
Uh-huh.
excuse me. A clean animal, a kind of antelope or gazelle, perhaps a mountain goat, perhaps an extinct animal, extinct meaning unknown, exact meaning unknown. That they should have put this at the top.
Right, right. Let's guess. Let's make some guesses first, and then tell
Right,
them we don't really know.
exactly. They should, yeah, yeah. Perhaps a mountain goat or some kind of gazelle. I don't know. you know, like, come on, man. Keep it real. Let's say that at the gate. I don't know. Oh, let's look at this other that they probably don't know.
Right. The
Z-
mirror.
Zamir, yeah. Zamir,
Exact
yeah.
meaning unknown.
Anytime you got to say this goes here.
Right.
That's first. Okay. First, we don't know for certain. But it could be one of these. Maybe. It's got to be something clean. So it's got to part the hoof, got to be cloven footed, and it's got a shoe cut. Anything that is that or does that, may or may not be here today. We don't know.
God.
That's funny. Uh, verse 6. And every beast that parted the hoof and cleave the cleft unto two claws. What? And cleave the cleft. Oh, okay. Cleave the cleft unto two claws and cheweth the cud among the beasts that you shall eat. Okay, so it's parting the hoof and cleave the cleft with two claws. That means the bottom of his feet are hard. That's how they're able to stand on the clefts of the rocks. So I
Hmm.
was like, cleave the cleft, but yeah, that makes sense because it's hard bottomed. You know, those are the ones you can put the shoes on. Like a horse got a hard bottom foot, but it's not parting the hoof, so it's not clean. So verse 7. Nevertheless, these shall you not eat of them that chew the cud, or of them that divided the hoof, the cloven hoof, the camel, and the hare, and the coney, for they chew the cud, but they do not divide the hoof. Therefore they are unclean unto you. The swine, because he divided the hoof, yet cheweth not the cud, it is unclean unto you. You shall not eat of their flesh, nor touch their dead carcass. These shall you eat of all that are in the waters. All that have fins and scales shall you eat. Verse 10. And whatsoever have not fins, and it didn't say or, and scales, you may not eat. It is unclean unto you. Verse 11. And all clean birds you shall eat. Of all clean birds you shall eat. But these are they which you shall not eat: the eagle, and the osprey, and the ostrich, and the osprey, the glede, glid, glede,
Glad.
the glid, and the kite, and the vulture after his kind, and every raven after his kind, the owl, and the nighthawk, and the toucan, toucan,
Kako.
kaka, kaka, and the hawk after his kind, the little owl, and the great owl, and the swan, and the pelican, and the gier eagle, and the cormorant, and the stork, and the heron after her kind, and the lapwing, and the bat, and every creeping thing that flieth is unclean unto you. You shall not; they shall not be eaten. But of the clean fowl you may eat. I kind of wish he would have went over the clean fowl.
Hmm.
Uh, verse 21. You shall not eat anything that dieth of itself. You shall give it unto the stranger that is within your gate. Yeah, here goes some roadkill. Or here goes, I don't know what happened to this thing. I came home, it was dead. There you go. Enjoy.
God.
That he may eat of it, or you may sell it unto an alien. For you are a set apart people unto Yahuwah your power. You shall not seethe a kid in his mother's milk. Now, this is an interesting verse here because there's been some, I wouldn't say controversy, but there has been some misunderstanding of what this actually means to seethe a kid in his mother's milk. So let's take a look at this. So they got hit the wrong button. Seethe. Okay, so to seethe means that's ba
Bashar.
bashal. Okay, that's to boil, cook, bake, roast, ripen, grow ripe. So in the context, to boil, to cook, or to bake, or even to roast. So this has to do with cooking.
Mm-hmm.
So he said, so you shall not seethe or cook a kid. What is this kid here? He
Gadi.
Gedi. Gedi. Kid, a young male goat. Young male goat, a kid. This is a young male goat or a kid. This is a what? A clean animal.
Mm-hmm.
So this is something that's okay to eat. A clean animal in his mother's milk. In his mother's milk. So you shall not cook or bake or roast a young male goat in his mother's milk, which means do you take the goat and cook it in the milk? You slick out. You boil it, you fill the milk up or the pan up with the mother's milk and then put the goat in there. Is he saying don't fill it up with milk and then put the goat in there? No, that's not what he's saying. What he's saying is you don't take uh, this young goat while he's still on his mother's milk, while he's still nursing, and prepare him for a meal
Mm-hmm.
and and uh, and feed him and eat him that way. That's not something that we do. That's inappropriate. But it's strange that the so-called Jews in the land they have taken this to be uh, you do not eat mixed milk and meat. So you can't eat milk and or you can't drink milk and have meat in the same thing in the same
So
meal.
so they saying no chicken fettuccine.
No chicken fettuccine, no none of that stuff. So that's crazy because you can't get that from this verse.
Okay.
You shall not seethe, cook a kid, a small goat, in his mother's milk. His mother's milk means he's nursing. So you don't cook him while he's nursing. You cook him after he's done nursing, after he's weaned off of that. It makes sense. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory, but it's ironic because I talked to an oct that went over there, and he said that they got pizza shops. So you got pizza shop that will sell pizza with cheese. Cheese, of course, comes from uh, a cow, which would be dairy, which would or not necessarily a cow, it could be a goat cheese, but it comes from an animal which represents dairy, and because they have this warped understanding, uh, the place that sells the pizza with the cheese, they don't sell milk. They don't sell milk. They don't sell meat. So you can get vegetables and cheese, or you can get vegetables and meat, no cheese.
Hmm.
You can't get a cheese like we get here, a cheese pizza with meat on it, with clean meat on it, and vegetables. You can't get that because of what the scripture says. Their misinterpretation of what the scripture says.
Con.
That's uh that's ironic because I don't know how you get don't mix meat and milk. A kid, oh, that's meat, and this is milk, so don't eat milk and milk. Meat and milk. Okay, let's continue. All right, verse 22. And you shall surely tithe all the increase of your seed, that you that the fields slick out, and you shall surely tithe all the increase of your seed, that your fields bring forth year by year. So all the increase, you give a tenth of that to Yahuwah. That means you take it to, at that time, the Levites. Now, if this continues to the kingdom, we'll take that to Hamashiach, who was after the order of Melchizedek, which he took, Abraham gave him a tenth of all of his anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So get used to that. Verse 23, and you shall eat before Yahuwah your power and make, Salika, you shall eat before Yahuwah your power in the place which you shall choose to place. Mm. Salika, I don't know why I'm chopping up these words so bad. Let me start that again. And you shall eat before Yahuwah your power in the place which he shall choose to place his name there, the tithe of the corn, of the wine, and of your oil. I say in your, it is thy,
Mm-hmm.
your, Salika. My apologies. My eyes don't see and my mouth say sometimes different. My apologies. I wish I had control over that. I don't always do it. Somehow I say the wrong thing. But let's continue. For your oil, Slika, or of your oil, and the firstlings, and your herd, and of your flocks, that you may learn to fear Yahuwah your power always. So he's saying, be sure you give all that which Yahuwah have specified as far as your increase. So you give a tenth of everything that is increased year by year. So if last year you had 100 bushels and this year you get 110 bushels, you tithe that extra 10. So a tenth of that, that's 1 bushel, would go to Yahuwah. Not to mention the 10 from the original. So he would, instead of 10, he would get 11. Let's continue. Verse 24. And if the way be too long for you, so that you are not able to carry it, or if the place be too far from you, which Yahuwah your power shall choose to set his name there, when Yahuwah your power have barak you, then shall you turn it into money and bind up the money in your hand, and shall go unto the place which Yahuwah your power shall choose, and uh, you shall bestow that money for whatever your soul lusteth after, for ox, or for sheep, or for wine, or for strong drink, or for whatsoever your soul desire, and you shall eat there before Yahuwah your power, and you shall rejoice, you and your household. And the Levite that is within your gate, you shall not forsake him, for he have none inheritance with you. And let me see, at the end of 3 years, you shall bring forth all the tithe of your increase that same year, and shall lay it up within your gates. And the Levites, because they have no part nor inheritance with you, and the stranger, and the fatherless, and the widow, which are within your gates, shall come and shall eat and be satisfied, that Yahuwah your power may barak you in all the works of your hands in which you do. So definitely keep the Most High completely in mind
Mm-hmm.
in all of these. So let's continue. This is the sabbatical year. This is a reasonably short chapter, 23 verses. So we're going to continue to read here. Uh, verse 15, chapter 15 and verse number 1. It says, and at the end of every 7 years, you shall make an release. And this is the manner of the release. Every creditor that lendeth aught unto his neighbor shall release it. He shall not extract it of his neighbor or his brother, because it is called Yahuwah's release
All
of
praise.
the. Yes, indeed. Hallelujah. And wouldn't that be beautiful if we did that in this terrible place,
There it
in the
comes.
land of our captivity? That would be a wonderful thing. Student loan forgiveness and all this other stuff. I know cats that pay student loans for years after they done graduated. Uh, I believe my brother's still paying on some, and he's almost 50. Got a master's degree. Don't know nothing. So they kind of throw that in there. verse 3. Uh, of the foreigner, you may extract it. You see that? He
Yep.
says, of the foreigner, you may extract it. Look here, man. This is 7 years now. Where my money at?
There it comes.
But that which is yours within your border, your hand shall release. Like so, for your own people, you can give it back, but they can keep it. But for that, look here, man. I gave you that money. You ain't paid me back. I need my money. This is the year of Jubilee. I need my money. Verse 4. Uh, say when there shall save when there shall be no poor among you. For Yahuwah have greatly barak you in the land in which Yahuwah your power have given you for an inheritance to possess it. Only if you carefully hearken unto the voice of Yahuwah your power, to observe to do all these commandments which I command you this day. For Yahuwah your power barak you as he promised you, and you shall lend unto many nations, but shall not borrow. Praise Yah. Now I can't wait till we get to that.
Hallelujah.
Yes, indeed. And you shall reign over many nations, but they shall not reign over you. Mm, Abba, please.
Come.
Verse 7. If there be any among you a poor man of one of your brethren, wherein any of your gates in your land which Yahuwah your power give you, you shall not hearken, you shall not harden your heart, nor shut your hand from your poor brother. I mean, if the Most High and Barak and gave us all this stuff, man, you better not let your brother be. He put that in Torah. You shall not shut your hand from your brother. You got it, and your brother need it. He should be able to get it from you, and you shouldn't have to worry about it after 7 years. You can't pay me back in 7 years. Don't even worry about it.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 8. But you shall open your hand wide unto him, and shall surely lend him sufficient for his need, and that which he wanteth. Beware that there be a uh, not a thought in your wicked heart, saying, in 7 years the year of release is at hand, and my eye be evil against my poor brother, and you give him not, and he cry unto Yahuwah against you, it shall be sin unto you. So you can't be like, oh man, you want to borrow what? Oh man, I'll give you that. Next year is Jubilee. I ain't gonna get my money back. I can't do
Mm-hmm.
it. I can't do it. Oh, you go to Abba. and shoo, it's gonna be sin under you.
Okay.
Better follow what I was saying. Man, this is good stuff here. Verse 10. You shall surely give him Slika, you shall surely give him, and your heart not shall not be grieved when you give it unto him, but that for his and Slika, because that for this thing Yahuwah your power shall barak you in all your works and in all that you put in your hands unto. So he said, don't worry about it. I got you. You lending to him, you lending to me. Verse 11. For the poor shall never cease out of the land. Therefore I command you, saying, you shall open your hand wide unto your brother, to the poor, and to the needy, and that and your land. They say go to the other lands and give to these other people. No,
Not at
he's
all.
saying to the poor, to your people in your land. In fact, he said these other people got to pay you back even uh, at the time of the Jubilee. You got 7 years.
Come.
You don't have my money, I'm gonna sell you so I can get my money back. Uh, verse 12. I added that last part. That was a joke. Verse 12. And if your brother, a Hebrew man or an Hebrew woman, be sold unto who you and serve you 6 years, in the seventh year you shall what? Let him go free from you. So he can only serve you if they are Hebrew. Uh, he can only serve you 6 years. So Salika, let's look at this word Hebrew and see if that's the same word for Ibrahim. Because I know it said your brother. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Ibrahim, one from beyond. A design, a designation of the patriarchs and the Israelites. So I was trying to see if that was extending to others who came through Eber, or is it limited to the Israelites? And from the looks of it, looks like it's limited to us, from what I can see. Because he said that it says in another place that the nations round about, those that you can take, and it don't say anything about returning them after 6 years or in the year of the Jubilee. So let's continue here. Verse 13. And when you send him out free of you, you shall not let him go away empty. So not only do you send him out, you don't send him out with nothing. All right, man. Peace. Shalom. Have a good one. I'm gonna miss you having you here. Get out.
Right.
No, no. He said, verse 14, you shall furnish him with liberty out of your flock and out of your floor and out of your winepress, and that wherewith Yahuwah your power have barak you, you shall give unto him. So what the Most High done gave you, you can give unto him. Look here, man. Gonna take you 10 of them sheep, uh, 10 females, 2 males, or 1 male, and I don't know, whatever it takes to make a flock. 10 females, 1 male, uh, take a male goat and 10 females and a bull and 3 females and so on and so forth. Get what you need to make you a little herd, and let me know if you need anything else. Oh, take some of this furniture too. Take them tables and yeah, Matter of fact, take a couple of these servants, these Gentile servants, take them. There you go. Now you all set. You done served your time with me, and I'm gonna put you back to where you can put you on your feet. You can be like, man, I don't even want to go. I want to stay with you. Verse 15. And you shall remember that uh, you was a bondman in the land of Mizraim, and Yahuwah your power redeems you. Therefore, I command you this day, I command you this thing today. See, I be reading from memory. Like I'll read something that's not even there. I said this day I command you this. That's because I'm used to seeing that this day. And I
Mm-hmm.
saw a day and I just filled it in. It's like that's strange how that happens. Verse 16. And it shall be if he say unto you, I will not go away from you, because he love you and your house, because he has dwelt with you. If that happened today, you tell a brother he free to go, and he was like, nah, man, I want to stay with you, man. You be like, man, he done fool with my wife. He want to stay. You know what I'm saying? Like it'd be something go straight to something negative, but maybe not.
Well, I'll say this: I
Uh,
like the institution of slavery that our ancestors saw here in this country is totally different from the institution of slavery in the what. Let's just use West Africa.
right,
Um, it was many of those slaves that were because slavery is not a new institution,
right.
but it was it blew the Europeans' mind to see how some of the slaves that were living in say like Senegal,
Hmm.
because they were living better than common folk. Like a lot of
Hmm.
times, if their masters were rich people,
Hmm.
so a lot of times they wouldn't want to go back and fend for themselves because they had it so good.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
a lot of Father Abraham's servants, you know
Hmm.
what I mean? Like they knew that he was blessed by the Most High, so
Right,
they knew that they would be well taken care of under the roof of under his shadow.
right. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it kind of when you weigh it in the balance, it beats going out and getting a job and because he providing you literally with everything you need,
Right.
and
You got
because
how
he
many
the
flocks versus
right,
me trying to go get my own and
right,
struggling.
exactly. Exactly. Trying to find a place to put them in, and then I already got tents. I already got a place to wash myself. I already got probably a wife. And so man, yeah, yeah. But I think like I said, what I was talking about this with this modern thinking. If a situation like that happened, you'd be like, he just want my wife, or something like that.
Yeah,
It wouldn't
kind.
be like, oh no, he want to stay with me because it's better with me. But no, I get exactly where you coming from. That makes good sense. Verse 16. Oh, we just read 16. Verse 17. Then you shall take an oil, and thrust it through his ear unto the door, and he shall be your servant forever. And also unto the maidservant you shall do likewise. So, and you're gonna take an oil and put it through his ear. So this is like a earring, as I understand it. Let's see what this AUL is. Look, they got
Marzaya.
Zion. They got oil from that boring instrument. Okay, so a boring instrument bores into breakthrough um, through the ear. So
It's
yeah,
some type of ear to signify or earring to signify he's property or that he belongs to somebody.
yeah, yeah. This is my servant here, and he's decided he gonna stay with me. So when you come to the house and you see the dude with the earring open the door, he's not the master of the house. He's the servant of the house.
Kind.
Yeah, and he's staying. He's here to stay.
Well,
So. Uh, that's interesting. Now, would you? Hmm. I mean, I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, consider that he will send you out, will give you all this stuff, and you're supposed to fend for yourself, or you can stay here and continue to serve him. Like I would want to try to build myself up, even if I failed, which I would willing I wouldn't fail, but I don't know. I guess it just depends. I mean, there's a lot of variables in that, but I guess some people it probably be in their best interest to be with stay with somebody else.
Okay.
Yeah, kind yes indeed. Verse 18. It shall not seem hard unto you when you see him away free from you. Shalinka. Did I read that right? It shall not seem hard unto you when you send him away from you. He'll send him away free from you. For he have been wrought a double higher servant to you.
Worth.
Oh, worth. Oh, slick out. Okay, I'll say it wrong. He have been worth a double higher servant to you in serving 6 years. In serving 6 years, and Yahuwah your power shall barak you in all that you do. All the firstling males that come of your herd and your flock shall sanctify unto you, unto Yahuwah your power. You shall not work with the firstling of you shall not work with the firstling of your bullock, neither shear the firstling of the sheep. So don't shear the sheep and don't. What does that mean? Work with the. Let's see what that's talking about. Where'd it go? Okay, you shall not firstling of the male. You shall not work.
All
Abad
right. Uh-huh.
to work, serve. Okay, so to serve, so to labor. Okay, that makes sense then. I really did not get that initially, but basically where you have it plow or do some stuff like that, don't do that with this one. This one want going to Yahuwah. So
Mm-hmm.
don't do that. All right. Uh verse 20. You shall eat it before Yahuwah your power year by year in the place in which Yahuwah shall choose, and you and your household. And if there be any blemish therein, as if it be lame or blind or have an ill blemish, you shall not sacrifice it unto Yahuwah your power. You shall eat it within your gates. The unclean and the clean person shall eat it alike, as the roebuck and as the hart. Only you shall not eat of the blood therein, and shall pour it out on the ground as water. So he reiterated that constantly. So that must have been a real issue that plagued
Okay.
the people there. So man, that's a lot. Okay, so let's continue. We're gonna continue. This is a marathon of reading here. We at I said an hour and a half. We at an hour and a half right now.
Yeah, I was looking at that a second ago.
Yeah, this is where we were gonna stop at 16, but and of course I've done a lot of talking too, so it's not just like we've been reading straight through. But I think we good. I think we good. You feel you good?
Yeah. But
Okay.
I'm trying to think if we'll be able to get to 20 because I know we were talking about hitting the streets.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's just right now 6, so we'll be finished with this, and when you pick up, you go a lot quicker.
Okay. Con,
you,
con.
you see how I be stammering and messing up. Your flow is a lot smoother than mine. So
All right. All right. This is
yeah,
the
so
book of Deuteronomy chapter 6. The feast of Pesach, of weeks, and of booths. This is verse
16,
1.
16. All right.
Oh, Salakia. Verse 16, verse 1. Observe the month of Abib and keep the Passover until Yahweh thy power. For in the month of Abib, Yahweh your power brought you forth out of Mizraim by night. Thou shalt therefore sacrifice the Passover unto Yahweh thy power of the flock and the herd in the place which Yahweh shall choose to place his name there. Thou shalt eat no leavened bread with it. 7 days 7 days shalt thou eat unleavened bread therewith, even the bread of affliction. For thou camest forth out of the land of Mizraim in haste, that thou mayest remember the day when thou camest forth out of the land of Mizraim all the days of thy life. So, just a reiteration to this new generation to
Of the
keep the
feast.
Passover
Yes, indeed.
and
Yeah, looks
unleavened
like we're
bread.
going over. Yeah, looks like we're going over all of them right here.
Yep. Verse 4. And there shall be no leavened bread seen with thee in all your coasts 7 days, neither shall there anything of the flesh which thou sacrificed the first day at even remain all night until the morning. We were told to burn whatever
Hmm.
remained.
Yes,
Uh,
indeed.
yep. Verse 5. Thou mayest not thou mayest not sacrifice the Passover within any of thy gates, which Yahweh thy power giveth thee, but at the place which Yahweh thy power shall choose to place his name in, there thou shalt sacrifice the Passover at even, at the going down of the sun, at the season that thou camest forth out of Mizraim. And thou shalt roast and eat it in the place which Yahweh thy power shall choose. And thou shalt turn in the morning and go into thy tents. 6 days shalt, six Salakia, verse 8. 6 days thou shalt eat unleavened bread, and on the seventh day shall be a solemn assembly to Yahweh thy power. Thou shalt do no work therein.
Slakia. Uh, that verse 7. Uh, I want you to finish that before I get that. But let me see. It says choose a place and choose in turn in the morning. Yeah. So that verse 7 is saying that during the Pesach, it says, and you shall roast it and eat it in the place in which Yahuwah your power shall choose, and you shall turn in the morning and go into your tent. So that Pesach is supposed to be an all night affair.
Wow. Yep.
Yeah.
Come.
God, yes indeed. Verse 7. Verse 9, I mean. Yeah.
Come. 7 weeks shalt thou number unto thee. Begin to number the 7 weeks from such time as thou beginnest to put the sickle to the corn. And thou shalt keep the feast of weeks unto Yahweh thy power with the tribute of a freewill offering of thine hand, which thou shalt give unto Yahweh thy power, according as Yahweh thy power hath blessed thee. And thou shalt rejoice before Yahweh thy power, thou and thy son, and thy daughter, and thy manservant, and thy maidservant, and the Levite that is within thy gates, and the stranger, and the fatherless, and the widow that are among you, in the place which Yahweh thy power hath chosen to place his name there. And thou shalt remember that thou wast a bondman in Mizraim, and thou shalt observe and do these statutes. Verse 13.
Hmm.
Thou shalt observe the feast of tabernacles 7 days, after that thou hast gathered in thy corn and thy wine, and thou shalt rejoice in thy feast, thou and thy son, and thy daughter, and thy manservant, and thy maidservant, and the Levite, the stranger, and the fatherless, and the widow that are within thy gates. 7 days shalt thou keep a solemn feast unto Yahweh thy power in the place which Yahweh shall choose, because Yahweh thy power shall bless thee in all thine increase, and in all the works of thine hands. Therefore thou shalt surely rejoice. Hallelujah.
Praise Yah. Yes indeed.
Verse 16. 3 times in a year shall all thy males appear before Yahweh thy power in the place which he shall choose, in the feast of unleavened bread, and in the feast of weeks, and in the feast of tabernacles, and thou shalt not appear before Yahweh empty. So these three feasts are
Yes,
mandatory.
indeed. Mandatory. All males must appear.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
Indeed. Verse 17. Every man shall give as he is able, according to the blessing of Yahweh thy power, which he hath given thee. Judges and officers shalt thou make thee in all thy gates, which Yahweh thy power giveth thee, throughout thy tribes, and they shall judge the people with just judgment. Thou shalt not wrest judgment, thou shalt not respect persons, neither take a gift, for a gift do blind the eyes of the wise and pervert the words of the righteous.
Mm,
So, we know that the Abba is not a respecter of persons.
not at all.
We shouldn't be either.
Mm-mm. No. Got to do right judgment. Right
Indeed.
judgment. Hmm.
Verse 20. That which is altogether just shalt thou follow, and thou mayest live and inherit the land which Yahweh your power giveth you. Thou shalt not plant thee a grove of any tree near unto the altar of Yahweh your power, which thou shalt make thee. Neither shalt thou set up any images which Yahweh thy power hateth.
Hate it. Don't set up nothing he don't want to deal with.
Con.
All these wickedness. So administration of justice.
All right. It's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 17. Thou shalt not sacrifice unto Yahweh thy power any bullock or sheep, wherein is a blemish, or evil favoredness, for that is an abomination unto Yahweh your power.
As an abomination. Anything that has a blemish or is evil favoredness, don't sacrifice that to the Most High. You don't. That's an abomination.
Con. Verse 2. If there be found among you within any of your gates, which Yahweh your power giveth you, man or woman that hath wrought wickedness in the sight of Yahweh your power, in transgressing in his covenant, and hath gone and served other deities and worshipped them, either the sun or moon or any of the host of heaven, which I have not commanded, and it be told you, and you hast heard of it, and inquired diligently, and behold, it be true, and the thing certain, that such abomination is wrought in Israel, then shalt thou bring forth that man or that woman which have committed that wicked thing unto thy gates, even that man or that woman, and shalt stone them with stones till they die.
Mm-mm.
At the mouth of two witnesses or three witnesses shall he that is worthy of death be put to death, but at the mouth of one witness he shall not be put to death. So if somebody said I did something and worthy death,
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't die just because that one person said it.
Mm-mm. It has to be two or three.
Yeah.
So, and they have to be. You can't be a false witness
Hmm.
because that'll get you the punishment that you're trying to get them.
Indeed.
So, yeah.
All right, verse 7.
Hmm.
The hands of the witness shall be first upon him to put him to death, and afterward the hands of all the people. So thou shalt put the evil away from among you. If there arise a matter too hard for thee in judgment, between blood and blood, between plea and plea, and between stroke and stroke, being matters of controversy within thy gates, then shalt thou arise and get thee up into the place which Yahweh thy power shall choose, and thou shalt come unto the priests, the Levites, and unto the judge that shall be in those days, and inquire, and they shall show thee the sentence of judgment, and thou shalt do according to the sentence which they of that place which Yahweh shall choose shall show thee, and thou shalt observe to do according to all that they inform thee, according to the sentence of the law which they shall teach thee, and according to the judgment which they shall tell thee, thou shalt thou shalt do. Thou shalt not decline from the sentence which they shall show you, to the right hand nor to the left. And the man that will do presumptuously and will not hearken unto the priest, that standeth to minister there before Yahweh thy power, or unto the judge, even that man shall die, and thou shalt put away the evil from Israel.
Yeah, so you can't be like, oh man, I can't do that.
Right.
Now you done set yourself up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Verse 13. And all the people shall hear and fear, and do no more presumptuously, when thou art come unto the land which Yahweh thy power giveth thee, and shall possess it, and shall dwell therein, and shall say, I will set a king over me, like as all the nations that are about me. Thou shalt anywise set him king over thee, whom Yahweh thy power shall choose. One from among thy brethren shalt thou set king over thee. Thou mayest not set a stranger over thee, which
Mm.
is not your brother.
Uh, well, that video we was talking about earlier,
Mhm.
where that officer is over, yeah,
Yeah,
direct violation of Torah.
mm-hmm. Well, and it just it makes sense, because okay, the ancient kingdom of ancient Ghana.
Hmm.
Uh, have you ever looked at the origins of that kingdom?
No, I'm interested though.
Okay, so there was this is how I know that it was our people.
Hmm.
Uh, but the first king of Ghana, his name was Dinga Sissi, Cisse, and his descendants are still throughout West Africa. Like if you
Mm.
see somebody with the surname Sissi,
Hmm.
Sisse, or in Senegal, I think they spell it Seasy. It's spelled two different ways, but
Okay.
these are direct descendants of that first king of Ghana. But he wasn't directly from that land.
Okay.
He came from Yemen. He
Hmm.
was a Yemenite warrior, a true Yehudi.
Mm.
He was a Yemenite, and we
Okay.
know that after the fall of Jerusalem, 70
Hmm.
A.D.,
Hmm.
we had a bunch of our people that lived in Yemen.
Right.
So his people were still there. I mean, up until the time of uh Muhammad's conquest of Saudi Arabia, they were
Hmm.
driving out Jews,
Mm.
and these Jews were fleeing into West Africa. They
Mm.
were fleeing. Uh, so the Kingdom of Ghana made this. On paper, it appears that he was a stranger, but he wasn't. He was one of them. He was
Right.
just from somewhere else.
Right. Just came from a different land.
Indeed. And they made him
Con.
king, and he's attributed to being the first king of
Con.
ancient Ghana. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. That's interesting. So is you find this on a video or you did this through like
I just read, not like
just reading? Okay.
I'm not, I haven't even seen anybody really touch on that
Talk about
subject
it.
before.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But like I was just at the time I was just, and this is like years ago. Like this is before I was even in this walk.
Hmm.
Just reading about the ancient kingdoms of Ghana, Sonia, and Mali.
Okay.
These were all Israelites.
Oh, praises.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to get into that. We're gonna have to get some of those sources if we can find them online and share the information for the people to see, man. That'll be dynamic.
Yeah, Khan,
Yes,
indeed.
indeed. Yes, indeed.
All right. Verse 16.
Uh-huh.
But he shall not multiply horses to himself, nor cause the people to return to Mizraim, to the end that he should multiply horses. For as much as Yahweh hath said unto you, ye shall henceforth return no more that way. Verse 17.
Hmm.
Neither shall he multiply wives to himself, that his heart turn not away, neither shall he greatly multiply to himself silver and gold. And it shall be, when he sitteth upon the throne of his kingdom, that he shall write him a copy of this law in the book, out of that which is before the priests, the Levites. And it shall be with him, and he shall read therein all the days of his life, that he may learn to fear Yahweh his power, to keep all the words of this law and these statutes to do them, that his heart may not be lifted up above his brethren, and that he might Salakia, and that he turn not aside from the commandment to the right hand or to the left, to the end that he may prolong his days in his kingdom, he and his children in the midst of Israel.
Yeah, I love how he have them write that the Torah because that'll really help them. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, when you write something, that really gets it in you. You know what I'm saying? I used to do that with spelling words when I was a kid, and that made all the difference. You write them because you saying what you're writing usually, and so yeah, it really helps it stick. And I notice when typing, it's not the same, but when you write, you really get it,
Uh-huh.
especially if you copy and paste. That's definitely not the same. So
And I think back on how our ancestors neglected a lot of what was commanded, and
right,
I can't think of any of those kings that actually wrote the Torah. You know what I mean? Rewrote
yeah,
it.
yeah,
I know that at one point they didn't even know where it was at.
right, exactly, exactly. Yeah, that show you how we had been separated so adamantly from the things that we should have been doing, and man, that was detrimental. If we would have stuck, if they would have had this, and we would have stayed with it, we'd still be in our land today, and not even, we'd be ruling the earth, after the ways of King David.
It's con,
But
con.
our people had to go off. So
Well, all right, this is the book of Devarim, Deuteronomy chapter 18, portion of the Levites, verse 1. The priests, the Levites, and all the tribe of Levi shall have no part nor inheritance with Israel. They shall eat the offerings of Yahweh made by fire, and his inheritance. Therefore shall they have no inheritance among their brethren. Yahweh is their inheritance, as he hath said unto them. And this shall be the priest's due from the people, from them that offer a sacrifice, whether it be ox or sheep. And they shall give unto the priest the shoulder, and the two cheeks, and the maw, the first fruit also of thy corn, of thy wine, and of thine oil, and the first of the fleece of thy sheep shalt thou give him. So even when you're sharing your sheep, you know what I mean?
hmm
Like you are to give that to the priest, the first of it.
yeah, yes indeed. Because that wool is you use that to make clothes and
Indeed.
various other things. So
Hmm.
absolutely.
Verse 5. For Yahweh thy power hath chosen him out of all thy tribes to stand to minister in the name of Yahweh, him and his sons forever. And if a Levite come from any of thy gates out of Israel, where he sojourneyed, and come with all the desire of his mind unto the place which Yahweh shall choose, then he shall minister in the name of Yahweh his power, as all his brethren the Levites do, which stand there before Yahweh. They shall have like portions to eat, besides that which cometh of the sale of his patrimony.
Mm,
Patrimony. All right. Spiritism forbidden. It's
hmm
the book of Devarim, chapter 18, verse 9. When thou art come into the land which Yahweh thy power giveth thee, thou shalt not learn to do after abominations of those nations. There shall not be found among you any one that maketh his son or his daughter to pass through the fire, or that useth divination, or an observer of times, or an enchanter, or a witch, or a charmer, or a consulter with familiar spirits, or a wizard, or a necromancer. For all that do these things are an abomination unto Yahweh. And because of these abominations, Yahweh thy power do drive them out from before thee. Thou shalt be perfect with Yahweh thy power. For these nations which thou shalt possess, hearken unto observers of times, unto diviners. But as for thee, Yahweh thy power have not suffered thee to do. Yahweh thy power will raise up unto thee a prophet from the midst of thee, of thy brethren, like unto me. Unto him shall ye hearken.
Uh,
Mhm. And that's speaking about Mashiach.
Mashiach.
You know,
Yes,
we
indeed.
can we can look at the life of Moshe and look at the life of Mashiach and
Hmm.
see so many parallels.
Absolutely.
Beginning with both of their both of them coming out of Mizraim at one point.
Yep.
Uh,
Okay.
Mashiach's parents had to flee to Mizraim and keep him there until it was safe to return.
Hmm.
Uh, the kings, both those kings, when those children were born, were trying to kill and did kill many Israelite children.
Yes,
You know,
indeed.
so many different parallels we can draw from those two.
Okay. Yes, indeed.
Yep. Verse 16. According to all that thou desirest of Yahweh thy power in Horeb in the day of the assembly, saying, let me not hear again the voice of Yahweh my power, neither let me see this great fire any more, that I die not. And Yahweh said unto me, they have well spoken that which they have spoken. I will raise them up a prophet from among their brethren, like unto thee, and will put my words in his mouth, and he shall speak unto them all that I shall command him. And it shall come to pass that whosoever will not hearken unto my words, which he shall speak in my name, I will require it of him.
Mm.
But the prophet which shall presume to speak a word in my name, which I have not commanded him to speak, or that shall speak in the name of other deities,
Mm.
even that prophet shall die.
Ah,
Wow.
he
And if
ain't
thou
playing.
exactly,
Yes,
exactly.
indeed.
Verse 21. And if thou shalt say in thine heart, how shall we know the word which Yahweh hath spoken? When a prophet, let me this is how we know.
Hmm.
Verse 22.
Yeah.
When a prophet speaketh in the name of Yahweh, if the thing follow not, nor come to pass, that is the thing which Yahweh have not spoken, but the prophet have spoken in presumptuously. That shall not be of thou shalt not be afraid of him.
Don't be afraid of him because Yahuwah not dealing with him.
Right. All right. This is the book of Devarim, Deuteronomy chapter 19, cities of refuge, verse 1.
Hmm.
When Yahweh thy power hath cut off the nations, whose land Yahweh thy power giveth thee, and thou succeedest them, and dwellest in their cities and in their houses, thou shalt separate 3 cities for thee in the midst of thy land, which Yahweh thy power giveth thee to possess it. Thou shalt prepare thee a way, and divide the coast of thy land, which Yahweh thy power giveth thee to inherit, into 3 parts, that every slayer may flee there. And and this is the case of the slayer which shall flee thither, that he may live. Whoso killeth his neighbor ignorantly, whom he hated not in time past. And when a man, oh, let's just break that down real quick. So, like,
Yeah.
if you accidentally or ignorantly somehow kill your neighbor, like
Hmm.
you are eligible to flee to one of these refuge cities. You
Exactly.
know,
Exactly. Yeah. If it was something that just accidentally happened, you flee to the city so that they family don't try to take death back on you out of anger and out of malice. And it's what's beautiful about this is that the Most High understands that this is necessary because you with your own people to keep you from having to go to another land, a distant land. He's putting you in a place in a city of refuge there where you're able to be safe, and his brother or his father or his cousin is not going to come and like, hey, you killed my family.
mm-hmm.
That's not allowed in these cities here.
Con. Verse 5. As when a man goeth into the wood with his neighbor to hew wood, and his hand fetcheth a stroke with the axe to cut down the tree, and the head slippeth from the helve, and lighteth upon his neighbor that he die,
Mm,
he shall flee into one of those cities and live. So that
Hmm.
that's just an example of an
Accident,
accidental killing.
completely accidental. Like I didn't mean to do it, but it seemed like you should be able to get over that. Like but but he's raising us to understand blood for blood, eye for eye, life for life. You know what I'm saying? So um, it does make sense, but it does make sense.
Mm-hmm.
So
All right. Verse 6. Lest the avenger of blood pursue the slayer while his heart is hot, and overtake him because the way is long, and slay him, whereas he was not worthy of death, inasmuch as he hated him not in time past. Wherefore I command thee, saying, Thou shalt separate 3 cities for thee. And if Yahweh thy power enlarge thy coast, as he hath sworn unto thy fathers, and give thee all the land which he promised to give unto thy fathers, if thou shalt keep all these commandments to do them, which I command thee this day, to love Yahweh thy power, and to walk ever in his ways, then shalt thou add 3 cities more for thee, besides these 3, that innocent blood be not shed in thy land, which Yahweh thy power giveth thee for an inheritance, and so blood be upon thee. But if any man hateth his neighbor, and lie in wait for him, and rise up against him, and smite him mortally, that he die, and fleeth into one of these cities, then the elders of his city shall, shall send and fetch him thence, and deliver him into the hand of the avenger of blood, that he may die.
mm,
Thine eye shall not pity him, but thou shalt put away the guilt of innocent blood from Israel, that it may go well with thee. So if
mhm,
you premeditatedly
right,
kill one of your brothers, one of
right.
your kinsmen,
Hmm.
uh, you're worthy of the death,
Yes,
yourself.
indeed. Yes, indeed. And when his people come for revenge, they gonna come to that city of refuge and be like, that
Bring
was
him out.
murder.
Bring him
Yeah,
out.
and they gonna bring him right on. They're gonna bring you right on out.
Mhm.
And yeah,
All right. Deuteronomy chapter 19. Laws of landmark and testimony. Verse 14. Thou shalt not remove thy neighbor's landmark, which they of old time have set in thine inheritance, which thou shalt inherit in the land that Yahweh thy power giveth thee to possess it. So, if it's Judah's land now, it's
hmm,
forever gonna be Judah's land, you
right.
know?
I'll be trying to move it over. Like, let me get these 6 inches or these 6 meters or whatever it is,
Right,
whatever
right.
unit of measurement we used.
Yeah. All right. Verse 15. One witness shall not rise up against a man for any iniquity or for any sin, in any sin that he sinneth. At the mouth of 2 witnesses or at the mouth of 3 witnesses shall the matter be established. If a false witness rise up against any man to testify against him that which is wrong, then both the men between whom the controversy is shall stand before Yahweh, before the priest and the judges, which shall be in those days. And the judges shall make diligent inquisition, and behold, if the witness be a false witness, and hath testified falsely against his brother, then shall ye do unto him as he had thought to have done unto his brother. So so shall the so shalt thou put the evil away from among you. That reminds me of the story of Hosanna, or not
Mhm.
Hosanna, but Shosanna.
Kind.
Yep.
The lady who they dropped the lie on.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
and Daniel,
Kind.
spirit came upon him to
Hmm.
remember this law.
Right. Yeah. They were trying to get her put to death and end up getting themselves put to death.
Indeed. Indeed.
My
Verse
goodness.
19. Oh, Slakia,
Oh,
verse
yeah, yeah.
verse
That's good.
20. And those which remain shall hear and fear, and shall henceforth commit no more any such evil among you. And thine eye shall not pity, but life shall go for life, eye for eye, tooth for tooth, hand for hand, foot for foot.
Kind. Yes, indeed. All right. Last chapter. Law and welfare. Warfare. I'll say
Mhm.
welfare. Warfare.
Right, God.
Laws and warfare. Kind. So.
This is the book of Deuteronomy chapter 20. When thou goest out to battle against thine enemies, and seest horses and chariots, and a people more than thou, be not afraid of them, for Yahweh thy power is with thee, which brought thee up out of the land of Mizraim. And it shall be, when ye are come nigh unto the battle, that the priest shall approach and speak unto the people, and shall say unto them, Hear, O Israel, ye approach this day unto battle against your enemies. Let not your hearts faint, fear not, and do not tremble, neither be ye terrified because of them. For Yahweh your power is he that goeth with you to fight for you against your enemies, to save
Say,
you. And the officers shall speak unto the people, saying, What man is there that hath built a new house, and hath not dedicated it? Let him go and return to his house, lest he die in the battle, and another man dedicate it. And what man is he that hath planted a vineyard, and hath not yet eaten of it? Let him also go and return into his house, lest he die in the battle, and another man eat of it. And what man is there that hath betrothed a wife, and hath not taken her? Let him go and return into his house, lest he die in the battle, and another man take her.
hmm,
And the officers shall speak further unto the people, and they shall say, What man is there that is fearful and faint hearted? Let him go and return into his house, lest his brother's heart faint as well as his heart. So that reminds me of Gideon. Story of
Con, yeah. He said that was the same thing, and that's how they got down to the 300.
Yep.
These ones had to go. Those ones had to go. Any of you who got this other business, go take care of that. And when it was time for the battle, um, I was under the impression them brothers came back like, oh, we fighting? Oh, let's go.
God.
Yeah.
All right, verse 9. And it shall be, when the officer had made an end of speaking unto the people, that they shall make captains of the armies to lead the people. When thou comest nigh unto a city to fight against it, then proclaim peace unto it. And it shall be, if it make thee answer of peace, and open unto thee, then it shall be that all the people that is found therein shall be tributaries unto thee, and they shall serve thee. And if it will make no peace with thee, but will make war against thee, then thou shalt besiege it.
Mm,
It happened at Jericho.
mm-hmm.
Uh,
Like, oh, y'all don't want to get along? Okay, don't worry about it.
All
We'll
right.
do it this way.
Hey, come. Verse 13. And when Yahweh thy power hath delivered it into thine hands, thou shalt smite every male thereof with the edge of the sword. But
Hmm.
the women and the little ones and the cattle and all that is in the city, even all the spoil thereof, shalt thou take unto thyself, and thou shalt eat the spoil of thine enemies, which Yahweh thy power hath given thee. Thus shalt thou do unto all the cities which are very far off from thee, which are not of the cities of these nations, but of these Salakia, but of the cities of these people, which Yahweh thy power do give thee for an inheritance, thou shalt save alive nothing that breatheth. Right.
Nothing. Yeah, put them all down.
Yep. Verse 17. But thou shalt utterly destroy them, namely the Hittites, the Amorites, the Canaanites, and the Perizzites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites, as Yahweh thy power hath commanded thee, that they teach you not to do after all their abominations which they have done unto their deities. So should ye sin against Yahweh your power. When you shall besiege a city a long time, in making war against it to take it, thou shalt not destroy the trees thereof by forcing an axe against them, for thou mayest eat of them. And thou shalt not cut them down, for the tree of the field is man's life, to employ them in the siege. Only the trees which thou knowest that they be not trees for meat, thou shalt destroy and cut them down, and thou shalt build bulwarks against the city that make war with thee, until it be subdued.
All praises to the Most High.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. We at 2 hours and 4 minutes, and we have read an entire 6 chapters, which were not long
Now
chapters,
that was
but
more than six, wasn't it? I Because you
oh
did
yeah,
four. I
we
think I just did five. That was
oh
nine.
okay, nine Salika, 9 chapters, Salika, my bad. Yeah, we read uh substantial. Uh which initially when I looked at it, I thought, oh, that's not so much. But well, we so much closer to better understanding as well as completing Devarim. So thankful for that, and thankful for being able to get through all of this. Um, Final thoughts on the book of these chapters. Um, you want to go first?
Kind. You know, most of what we read today, I would say, would be a reiteration of what we've covered in times past.
Mm-hmm,
But that chapter right there, we hadn't learned about how to approach sieging a city.
mm-hmm,
Uh, you know, uh,
yeah.
and even having mercy on those who surrender, except for those seven nations that were already in the land.
Mm-hmm,
But
yeah.
everybody else, if they want to make war with us, we kill them all except for the women and the children.
Mm-hmm,
And then if they want to make peace, we make peace and make them our servants.
yeah.
I don't recall reading that before.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. I remember in Bereshit when we took the children of with Shechem and his people, we killed all the men and the women and the children they kept. Um, we read in another place all the women who had not known men by lying with them. They kept them, but the women who had known men, and I don't know how they checked for that. I don't know how they found out who had been with a man and who had not. But yeah, the women who had been with men, they got rid of them, and the women who had not, they kept them. Uh, so yeah, and then we read a couple other places where everybody had to go. You know, they got rid of men, women, children, infants, all of them gone. Good night. So interesting. It's really interesting how you come to one or the other. Um, do how do you make that decision? I don't know how who gets it and who doesn't. So
Con.
interesting. Interesting, yeah. But as far as these chapters, these 9 chapters that we've covered, it sounds like a lot. I mean, it was a decent amount. Good, lot of good information, a lot of reiteration, as you said, and definitely some good food for thought and building. Uh, do see why they call Devarim the second law or the second giving of the law because we definitely reiterated some good information. I don't know if we covered the sabbatical year, and well, I think we did look at it
Yeah,
in
we did in
Exodus.
where we call in
Okay,
Leviticus. Yeah, I
Con and
believe.
Leviticus as well. Of course, we covered the feast. I always love reading the feast. It's such good, you know, a good setup for our people, especially how we've been, dealing with these um, impractical ways of these heathen. So definitely a Barakah, reiterating the Levites and getting rid of these ones who would do this evil. Understanding the city of refuge. I think that's such a wonderful idea because basically what we're saying, what the Most High is saying here, or what Hamashiach is saying here, is that if this happened to him, he'd be angry. You know what I'm saying? So because he understands that emotion, he's going to make a way for these people to to escape and be safe, and so that it's not just revenge taken against them when it shouldn't be because of an
Con.
accident. So and ironically, now these weren't our people; these were some Gentiles. But I worked with a fella and his. It was two fellas that worked together, were good friends, they went hunting and one shot and killed the other in a hunting accident.
Mm.
And his these were Caucasians, but the parents were very quick to forgive. Surprisingly, I mean, and I can't remember if he was their only child, the one that died, but the other one felt horrible. He wasn't like oh man, you can't apologize for something like that. I mean, you got to, but there's no I'm sorry,
Right,
I
right.
apologize. There's nothing for that. That's just dang. You know, like I don't even know how you sleep at night after something like that.
Come.
Especially hunting. That's in this day and time. That's like not not required or not necessary. So you could have definitely done without that. But it's like wow. But yeah, it makes sense because you would be angry, and who else wouldn't? So who wouldn't? But all praise to the Most High, man. We covered an immense amount of ground and got a lot of edification in reading these chapters. Um, so all praises. Look forward to next week where we'll be covering uh, probably Yom Shishi. We'll probably do 21 through 24. That's at 21, 22, 23, 40. That's 4 chapters. And then for Sabbath, we'll do probably to 28, 24 to through 20. Well, we'll stop at 28 because I want to do 28 separate. And
Come.
so, yeah,
And I want to say you had said that about 25 as well.
okay, yeah, 25, I think. It may just be that because I want to cover that law on uh, where the man that has to take that has to have two wives
Yeah, come.
according to the text. So I really want to home in on that. So yeah, we'll probably just break it up and do a couple of different break the broadcast up because I want to have those separated. So you can refer to this video right here, not a 2 hour video, hour and a half video, but 20, 30 minute video, whatever the case, whatever it takes to get to that point, and that'll be what we spend our time on, and we'll have so. Uh, Anything else you got on?
Now that's about it, my brother.
All praises to the Most High Power, man. I'm so thankful, to be able to do this once again, and to the Most High for giving us the ability and the desire to want to carry out this work. Also looking forward to getting to the street. You can see the sun shining on my face, so it's beautiful weather outside, and I look forward to getting into it. With that, I am your Akazaki Yahoo, joined by my most esteemed Kenanaya. We give all praise, honor, and great esteem unto the Most High Power, Yahuwah, Bahashem, Yahushua Hamashiach, and to the 12 tribes of Israel who are scattered to the four quarters of the earth. I say shalom wa barukim, that is peace and blessings. And I cannot wait to the day that the Most High brings us back together and we are once again 12 tribes, one family, one nation under the Most High power, under one covenant. Until that day, Shabbat Shalom, family.
Shabbat shalom, family.
All praises.